Now let's go ahead and let's discuss a little bit about Libra energy. What's it going to mean when Mercury is in Libra? Because that's what's going to happen, right? The next sign after Virgo is Libra. So Mercury gets to 24 degrees and then it goes to 25 and 26, 27, 28, 29, and then it goes into Libran energy. Okay. So when it enters Libra, Mercury is changing what it's talking about. It's changing what it thinks about, what it's communicating about. It's still Mercury, so it still has all those qualities of gathering data and information and sharing it, but it's not in Virgo anymore. Now it's in Libra. And what does Libra mean, right? Libra is like a Venus energy. And so this is quite different because Mercury going through Virgo meant Mercury and Mercury. Yeah, meant Mercury and Mercury. All right. Because Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini. And I don't mean to confuse you with the Gemini thing. Okay. But now when Mercury moves into Libra, it's in an air sign. Libra is air. So it was squaring Gemini energy before. Libran energy will then be trining Gemini because it's Mercury in Libra. So it sends a perfect sweet trine to air, which is Gemini energy. Now, don't get too excited because it goes backwards. Once it hits 9 degrees of Libra, Mercury goes backwards. It goes back into Virgo and it goes all the way back to 24 degrees of Virgo. And then it's going to go forward again. Yeah, then it's going to go forward. So I would not think, just makes sense. Whatever job you have, if you're a person who's been looking or who's in between interviews, who's, doing that whole back and forth thing, this is all about looking over all your options. Keep that in mind. This is a testing period. This is about being able to be flexible. This is about having choice points. That's Mercury. It's like, I want to have as much information so I can make the right decision. I can make a decision that's best for me. So you just remember to remain flexible during this time. Okay. Once Mercury is back to that 24 degrees in Virgo and it goes forward again. And then once it goes forward again, it'll stay forward, right? And so once it gets back into Libra the second time, that's a time when I would recommend, okay, now this looks like this is the keeper. This is the job because you will have all the information. You will have done all the experimenting. You will have dabbled here and dabbled there. You would have gotten the pay. You would have said, oh, well, this job pays this much. But this job, I thought it was going to work because it offered, these benefits or whatever. And in the end, the travel and anyhow, once you go through all that experimenting, Gemini and Mercury, and dabbling and you're looking at all your options, then you're feeling more confident and then you're going to have all the information to make a better choice. And so that is not until October 2nd. And if I'm reading this correctly, that is not until October 2nd. So this isn't that far off, right? It at least gives you a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. And so for those of you who want the deep dive on this, where we can take a peek at the chart or take a deep dive on the chart and see the degrees, because you may have some degrees and you may have a lot of complicated stuff going on. And I know quite a few of you who have a lot of complicated stuff going on. We'll deep dive into the chart now. And for those who don't want to see that, now's your time to bail. Thanks for hanging with us. There you go. Can you see that? Can you see this? Yeah, here we go. Okay, top right-hand corner is my cursor. There is a lot on the screen. And don't worry about that. All you do is follow this cursor, okay? We'll walk together through this. Now, I have the date over here, August 20th. So this is the beginning of Mercury's shadow zone. And in case I didn't show you this, I'm sorry. Mercury is right here. I just had it lit. Thank you. So there she is, 24 degrees and 21 minutes. She's got like that, a head with those little antennas on top. And yeah, it's like a stick figure with an antenna on top. So I say she because Mercury actually is a dual planet. It has the ability to express masculine and feminine energy. It's like I think they're called fraternal twins. Okay. It's masculine and feminine. However, we are just in a cycle in our lives right now where it's showing up more feminine because of the imbalance been such an unbelievable patriarchal imbalance in our society in general. So the matriarch has to kind of recalibrate things. And that's what's been going on for a while. And a lot of folks aren't happy about that at all. Anyway, this isn't about that. Mercury, 24 degrees and 21 minutes. Now, you see these numbers are black, and that's because she is still going forward. So again, this is August 20th. Mercury has not begun her retrograde yet. But we're talking about this because this is the point, the degree where Mercury will come back to when it begins. Or I'm sorry, when it goes direct again. It's going to go, I'll give you an example. Mercury here is at 24 and it's going to travel into Libra, and it's going to go to 9 degrees in Libra. Then it's going to begin its retrograde, and then it's going to travel back to this point, and then it's going to go direct, and it's going to travel forward again. So that whole thing I just showed you, without getting too confusing, is what we call the retrograde zone, or the shadow zone, or the rerun zone, whatever you want to call it. And so that means between 24 degrees of Virgo and 9 degrees of Libra is where you will be rethinking, where you will be discovering new options, where you will be rethinking, where you will be still collecting information, where you will be having choice points. Okay, where whether it has to do with your job or healthcare or your pets, all of the above, something about daily routines, your tasks, your projects. Again, they can be health orientated because it's Virgo. Virgo is digestion and stomach. Okay, it's also mental health because our mental health, our thinking, Mercury, our thinking, affects our body, affects our digestion, affects how we feel. So having Mercury in Virgo, for some of us, we're going to see that direct correlation. We'll really, really see it and feel it clearly. Like, okay, when I'm under stress, my stomach doesn't feel so hot. Like I'm feeling like I got knots in my stomach or whatever, right? Whatever that is for you. Let me know down below. What is it for you? Can you feel it when Mercury is in Virgo? Can you feel it? Can you feel a connection where when your thoughts aren't right, like if there's something going on and your mind's just in a not so great space, there's something bothering you or you're worried or there's fear, does that affect your body? Does that affect your health? Does that affect your digestion? Okay. Some say that the second brain of our body is our gut. Do you believe that? I would love to hear your feedback on that. So Mercury 24-21, I'm going to look at the other things on this chart. Please come along with me so that we can find out what, if we look at the signs that square this between 24 and 9 degrees, we can then understand what we in our own lives we're going to be juggling, right? Where we're going to have to remain flexible, what sort of choices and options might be available, what sort of things we're going to be looking at, what kind of conversations we're going to have, because Mercury is all about conversations. Now, mutable sign Virgo, mutable sign. Remember I said that it squares Gemini? So Gemini energy is over here. And what do you see? You see this pillar, right? Left and right. That's why I was talking about Mercury being the masculine, the feminine, the twins, because it rules this sign. Mars is here. On this day, Mars has just entered Gemini. So Mars is the physical body. I've got another video up. You should have seen part 1 of that video by now. If you haven't, go check it out. There's just so much going on that I had to make a 4-part series for Mars and its retrograde because yes, Mars also goes retrograde in the sign of Gemini. So that means that Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini squares the Virgo energy, right? Because if it's in Gemini, we know that Gemini and Virgo square each other, right? Now, this video isn't about that, so we're just going to stay focused on what is Mercury possibly going to be discussing, okay? So 24 degrees of Virgo would square 24 degrees of Gemini. So it's a higher degree. It's up over here. And up in the sky, there's really nothing here. But we do know it's going to have to do with everything, all things Gemini. Talking, communication, sales, social media, reporter versus journalism, which means, am I reporting the news or am I giving you spin on the news? Am I giving you my regurgitated opinion of the news, of the facts? Okay. This is something we've all been really wrestling with, literally. Gemini's job is to show us both sides, both perspectives, which is why we're having such a crazy time with it. We are so stuck in, well, it means this, and that's it. We want our world to be two colors, and that's it. We like it clean, we like it simple, we like it either black and white, right? We just want it simplified. But as humans, we are not either black or white. There are so many colors, there are so many layers in between. We are so much more than our skin tone, right? And that's life. It's really about all the shades of gray. Absolutely is. Okay. So Gemini energy, social media, news, and yes, we know how crazy times will be because we have elections coming up in the States. And yeah, if Mars enters Gemini, Mars is being very assertive communications. It's almost like I'm ready to go to battle. Mars and Gemini is like the great debater. And well, you could take that with a grain of salt because depending upon who it is that's doing the talking, it could go to another level. Let's not forget that Gemini energy is also cars, right? The auto industry. And there's a lot of information, that everybody's ears have been perked pertaining to EV. So it's the community, it's the local community. This is school children. Remember, Mars. Mars is a soldier. Mars does carry weapons. So just keep all that in mind. When I see Mars and Gemini, I think road rage and stuff. So just be aware of all that. What else is happening? Okay. We got the nodes at 17 degrees, right? They're still conjunct Uranus. So lots of shocking information over things that we value. And we have not been short for hearing about shocking news. The first 7 days of August, actually, I should say what was it? August 12th, from like August 5th to August 12th, right? Lots of information coming across our ears and into our brains. Okay. And why has it been shocking? Why has it been so like, whoa, are you serious? We were experiencing a really strong square with Saturn. All right. Saturn at right this time is showing it's at 21 degrees. Well, the moon's nodes were actually up at a higher degree, right? They were like at 19 degrees. So we had Uranus, the moon's nodes, and we had Mars. They were all conjunct. And Mars, being in Taurus, was squaring Saturn slowly but surely, right? And then it caught up to there. So it was just like bam, bam, bam. It was like one thing happened and then the next and the next and the next. So it was like, wow, when is this crazy show ever going to end? Yeah, it was like, yeah, get your popcorn ready. So what else is going to be going on? Pluto's at 26 degrees. I want to see what Mercury, like who is Mercury angling or trining? Because that's really going to be the factor here. One of the things we see is that Mercury at 24, nothing in Gemini, opposite of Gemini will be this T square. Well, the opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius energy. So we go over to Sag and we don't really see anything. There's nothing at 24 degrees in Sagittarius. Okay, we're good there. What I will say is that when Mercury gets higher in numbers, when it gets to 27 degrees, it will be squaring the galactic center. And that will be a big deal. That's big information because it's the galactic center. It's a global type of a thing. It's big. It's not small, right? It's powerful. It expresses a great need and it will challenge our beliefs because it's Sagittarius. It's the judicial system, possibly judges because it's Sagittarius. So it's, our government, but yeah, how the courtroom works. So, geez, we've been hearing so much. I don't even want to say anything else about that, but it comes down to philosophy on life. It comes down to our beliefs about freedom, religion, the law, right? And it's not, yeah, it's like the letter of the law. It's like, the US Constitution. These are our truths. These are the foundation of our country. So yeah, Sagittarius energy, very big there on that. So Mercury squaring that might be something that's a little unsettling. Is there anything going to be opposing Mercury? Here's the big one, right? Look at opposite. That would be the opposing. Neptune, 24. It matches. You see that? See how this is so fascinating how astrology tells a story. because it's a cycle, it's a timing. You have Mercury that's at 24 on August 20th. Mars just enters Gemini. It's at 0 degrees. So a big news day is what that means. We have this opposing, which means whatever we're hearing about, if it's opposing Neptune, it may be over amplified. Not to say that it's 100% false, but everything tends to be dramatized, right? We tend to kind of add a little bit more of a flair to it. Like if you're somebody who's on social media and you're trying to get clicks, people tend to just like do whatever it takes to get clicks on their channel or their page or whatever, whatever platform you use. So this is entertainment. This is Hollywood, okay? However, Neptune, whatever it touches, whatever it comes into contact, it can make something disappear. It has the ability, it's like, somebody mentioned like the curtain with Oz, right? In the Wizard of Oz, and how you had the all powerful Oz with the curtain. And so, yeah, you don't really know what's going on. Now, take this with some balance, please. Take this with some balance, because Mercury in Virgo is very meticulous. Okay. It's got a buttload of details going on. So for some of you out there, having Neptune come by and to do this kind of limiting your details actually may be a benefit at that time. And I know that's super complex. It may even seem extremely confusing and make no sense at all. That's just for some particular people that I'm thinking about who we've been in contact with. So you probably know who you are. And if not, comment to me and I'll let you know. But Neptune at 24 opposing Mercury is Hollywood, but it's also politics. It's stuff that happens. These are actors. Politicians they tend to over dramatize, especially when it's not really talking about the issues, but it's political parties. I should really clarify myself from here on out that Pisces is really more about the political parties, because I got to put this act on so that we get our agenda forward. Okay. So 24 degrees is a big deal. And we know this because this Mercury is going to go to Libran energy at 9, and then it's going to come back to this point. The question is, when it gets back at this point, where will all this other stuff be? Where will Neptune be then? Where will Mars be then? And what I also want to look at, I didn't get a chance to mention yet, on this date, August 20th, look at where the sun is. You see this? The sun is in Leo at 2757. So the sun is conjunct Regulus at this time. Now, this is a big deal for some individuals, someone who I can think of in particular. It's a huge deal for, because the previous president, not the current president, the previous president of the United States has his ascendant at 29 degrees of Leo, right? And so if your sun is there, when the sun comes back to that spot, that's lit up, your appearance, like people see you, right? And so let's not forget, Leo energy tends to be a bit theatrical, just like the Pisces energy. Remember I said Neptune and Pisces over here. Leo is the same way. Okay. The difference with the Pisces and the Leo energy, Pisces is all about, I got to put this show on because I'm performing, right? Leo also likes to be a performer, but Leo also, what makes Leo, I'm going to say it, what makes Leo dangerous, especially at these degrees, is it has a soul recognition of having a lifetime of being the king, the king of the jungle, royalty, 27, 28, 29 degrees. Like this is the royal star of Persia, literally. So if you're somebody who has something there, you may walk around with your head up high, with your nose in the air, like the lion, because of that. And I know this may sound like a bit theatrical in itself, but does that remind you of anybody when I'm saying this? This is not made up. This is what this is. So the light will be on that person. The light will be on that person. Now, there are other things that would have to be considered. Like I would have to look at that person's chart, he who shall not be named, to see how does this play out for that person? Like what is where for them? Where are these planets lining up for them? I do know it's a hot time, just in general. We already know this, right? So below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.